Hi, Caledonian Biker, welcome back to my channel, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to talk about my all new bike, and it's the Aprilia Tuareg 660, which I've just bought, and I'm going to be discussing my accessories that I've put onto this bike. I've fitted quite a lot of original equipment ones, and I've fitted a lot of aftermarket ones. So, I'm also going to show you at the end of the video a valve service on the bike, and tell you a bit more about the servicing costs for one of these bikes if you were the owner. So please stick around for the information I've got for you after my short intro. Roll the intro. So, we're talking about accessorising this bike, and what I've chosen to do is split it to save some money. I've went for original equipment stuff, and one of them would obviously be the quick shifter, since it's all going to get set up by the manufacturer at the dealership that you bought your bike from. So, done that. Picked up the centre stand. I like the centre stands on the bikes, especially if you're getting a puncture, and I've had a few recently, believe it or not. Stop and go, remember that, best puncture outfit for repairing your punctures on the go. And with these, this has got the tubeless tyres on it and the tubeless wheels. The new model, the 10RA and the Tuareg Rally, they've got tubed, and I'm not a fan of tube, sorry. So I'm quite happy having the tubeless tyres and being able to do my repairs, and the centre stand comes in handy. Another accessory I picked up was the standard original equipment rack. I looked at a few aftermarket ones. They weren't going to do what I was needing. I used the Krieger bags, and I put the 10 on here, and I've got a 15 and a 20, and that just comes onto the seat as well. And talking about the seat, this is a change from the standard plastic seat. I've went for the comfort seat, and it just also gives me a wee bit more height on the bike for myself. So I'm delighted with the fact that I've got that on it, and I've not got it yet, but I'm going to put the alt riser on the back of the bike to lift it up another 20mm. So that changes the setup with the suspension linkage, and it increases it by 20. I'm just waiting on that coming in from America just now. So going back to this bike with the accessories, I've also went for the spotlights from Aprilia. The reason I went for the spotlights from Aprilia, they fit straight into the switch up here, easy plug and play, and that's you got them anytime you need. I'm a big fan of the spotlights for the bikes. So moving on now to the aftermarket parts that I've decided to go for. Aprilia give you the SC Project exhaust, very expensive, and I felt that with this bike, and especially the fact I'm going to be taking it off-road, hence I've got the crash bars that I'll talk about in a minute, I went for the Black Widow end can exhaust for it. That's coming in at 175, and I always put the rubber protectors, that pennies, on the end here in case there's any buffs. So with the baffle out, baffle in, it's up to yourselves. There's a good noise off the bike, especially in the run down third and second gear as you're coming down the box. Very pleased with this pipe, especially at the cost, 175 from eBay. Now, the crash bars are AS3. Now, they're coming from Northumberland. Reason being with the crash bars, the Aprilia ones were quite expensive. I didn't want to give that amount of money. And these come in just over 200, and they're UK, and I like to spend my money locally, to be perfectly honest with you. So I've went down the road of the crash bars from the UK, and also the Black Widow exhaust from the UK, and I'm really delighted with both. The fitting of these is pretty straightforward, and it gives a good bedding for the spotlights to go into it. It's just a matter of getting the original equipment brackets as well for the spotlights, and then putting them onto the crash bars from them. Another one of the aftermarket things I like is I've got this Tuareg 660 as you see on it, big bag here, also takes the mobile phone at the top of it, allows you to see any calls coming in, etc, etc. So I'm over the moon with this bag. That came in about £30 from eBay, and it just meets my needs for what I need there, and then what I've got in the tail for carrying my puncture repair outfit and any refreshments that I've got on it. Another thing I've got is the heated grips. Now, the heated grips on this bike, I didn't go for the original equipment. I'm a big fan of Oxford, and I prefer the Oxford grips all the time. These come in quite expensive, $199, but they're the best quality heated grips you're going to get out there on the market, and I wouldn't be without heated grips now. I just feel as if they're needed all the time. Another thing I always have on my bike is the Scott Oiler. So I've got the latest Scott Oiler from Scott Oiler, who do sponsor me, and they fitted it on the bike, and I'm always delighted. With my Tenere, I've been running 14,000 miles to one chain and sprocket kit with the Scott Oiler. So I'm over the moon with the Scott Oilers on the bikes as well. So moving on to the final part of my video, as I said at the beginning in the intro, I was going to touch on servicing and a valve service. So the video footage is coming on this channel just now shows you one of the technicians from Aprilia doing a full valve service on the Tuareg. Now you'll see there's a lot amount of stripping going on here with panels, etc., tanks off, just to into the engine before you carry out the service. So I think it's actually good value for money when it takes several hours to do this job. As regards to the servicing cost, you're $270 for your 600 mile service, you're $320 for your 6k service, and the big valve service comes in just about £600. So really, all said and done, all of that added up, and I know this from my facts before with the Triumph, you're talking about £1,100 for a service in a Triumph for one valve service. That's you get your 3 services there. That's over a year's servicing for the price of one valve service. So I'll post prices on the screen for all the parts I've mentioned. Total cost roughly £2,000 plus the fitting. I know it sounds a lot, but most manufacturers always add costs on for any buy-ons. So when you consider the fact that you've probably got about £750, £1,000 off the price of this bike with Aprilia, it's not bad value for money. Just to wind up the video now, obviously on all the accessories that I've chose to accessorise on my bike, because that's what I like to have on my bikes. I'm used to this sort of equipment on them. And I hope that service gave you a wee insight into the costs, etc. also. So thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe free of charge and ring the bell. This will give you updates on any videos or posts that I make on the channel. So once again, thanks very much for tuning in, and the next 2 videos coming up to do with the Tuareg will be a ride review on this bike itself. I've been round about them for about 3 years now, and also I'm going to do a head-to-head with this bike against my Tenere T700 that I've been riding for the last 2 or 3 years. So that'll be another interesting comparison for you. So once again, thanks very much for tuning in. See you next time, Caledonian Biker.